Canada launch commercial. Take one.
Mobile stations are...
Welcome to Liquid Lunch. This is the vegan, calling all vegans. Sue Spar is my co-host, and we are doing a big show today, right, Sue?
Do we ever? It's jammed.
It's jammed. We got a huge studio audience.
Yeah.
Today. We're eating vegan popcorn that's getting stuck in our teeth and our throats all at the same time.
I declined until after taping.
Okay, great. So let's get busy. We're going to have fun now because you brought your anonymous mask.
Can I please just say where I got my shirt?
I hope we can see that on camera. I don't know. Ditch dairy. What does that mean? Ditch dairy.
Get it out of your life completely. This is from the activistproject.ca, and they are selling these online through Etsy, among with other shirts as well. So that's all.
That's very
just
cool.
a quick plug.
It just kind of reminds me that because you went to that heavy metal show at the Opera House, and there was a band there called Skeleton Witch.
Yes. Yes.
Which is very close to ditch, except
yeah.
for the first letter.
They're not vegan though. Skeleton.
They're not?
Witch, I don't believe so. No. I know all the vegan metal bands.
I'm surprised you're supporting that sort of thing.
Well, I have two lives. I lead a double life.
I know. Okay, great. Well, let's get busy. We got Igor, Wolford, and Alec Bosse joining us here from the Anonymous for the Voiceless.
Were those pronounced properly?
Yeah.
Okay.
Great. And you guys do the Cubes of Truth.
Cube of Truth.
And I know that Sue participates there every Saturday, pretty much.
No, well, no, not very often.
Well, then she rushes.
Now that the weather's nice.
Then she rushes back home to do work.
Yeah.
Oh, look, that's good.
Yeah.
Yep, that's great. I want to get one of those masks. So, guys, welcome to the show.
Well, thank you for having us.
And Igor, do you want to start, or who should start? Igor, tell us about Cubes of Truth, Anonymous for the Voiceless.
Yes, absolutely. So the group itself, it was started in Australia about 2 years ago. Since then, it grew rapidly, and right now there's over 500 chapters around the world. Toronto is being one of them. We've been running the Cube for just over a year. So we started in March last year. We do them pretty much once a week through this time. Right now it's summer, and it's been our third week doing 2 cubes a week. So we're right at Yonge and Dundas, showing undercover footage of slaughterhouses and other animal agriculture practices, and just showing the truth to the public, what they pay for when they go to a grocery store buying animal products, or go to a restaurant getting a burger.
Now, how did you get involved in this? I mean, what was your...
Anonymous or activism in general?
Well, maybe even your epiphany moment. Have you been vegan all your life? Maybe.
No. I've been vegan for just over 2 years.
Okay.
And the pivotal moment was actually Gary Yourofsky speech on YouTube. It's called "The Best Speech You Will Ever Hear," and it's not just the clickbait. It's I think it's one of the best speeches out there. It's very revealing, and covers a lot of different aspects and puts together just different points and perspective that the ones that you're missing from your understanding of our relationship with the animals. And this is what turned me vegan. I just understood I make the connections, and I went and threw away half of the stuff from my fridge.
Now, were you a vegetarian before, or were just a regular meat eating?
My wife was. We didn't have meat at home by the time, but at that time when I would go out, I would have like a meat burger. So I was pre-exposed to some of the information.
Yeah.
And that was just the final point.
Okay. And then, are you you're the organizer? Are you of?
I'm the organizer for the Toronto chapter.
And besides the Cube of Truth in Toronto, are you doing any other outreach activities?
I would gladly join other organizations
Okay.
doing other events. So, for example, the Save Movement, the Fish Save, Direct Action Everywhere. So
So-
there's a lot of things actually happening. The Antler protest. Yeah.
Well, we've over the last few weeks, we've met so many people from different organizations, different participating in different ways in the vegan movement in Toronto, right? And it seems there's a lot of cooperation, cross-pollination, that sort of thing.
That's for sure.
So, Alec, what's your involvement with the
Well, I'm
organization?
one of the activists that helps out at Anonymous with the Voiceless in Toronto and the Cube of Truth. And again, I'm also involved in several different other activities here in Toronto, such as the Grass Movement and the Save Movement. And basically, we're very blessed in Toronto to have so many different outreach opportunities and so many different people that are recognizing how important it is for us to be getting awareness out there about veganism and trying to get people to wake up a little, because the industries, they really don't want us to think about these things. They don't want us to think about how did that get to the store, how did that get to the restaurant, that why are we consuming these things and purchasing these things, and what are the effects that happen with that, you know, not only the ethical aspects for animals, but also the environmental aspects, our own health aspects, and the exploitations of other humans in order for us to continue to maintain this system that really just isn't necessary.
Well, and we're also, it just seems to me that there's the movement is building, like the building steam so quickly. I mean, even this morning, Sue, we had Martin Magley just join us, a hockey player, and he's vegan.
Yeah.
Like, I think he was vegan before, but I forgot about that. But then here we are on Mondays, and it's calling all vegans, and you gotta be strong to be a hockey player, and
It's one of the fastest moving, like, growing movements, just because people are becoming more aware, and also in athletics as well. Like, there's more and more athletes that are choosing veganism, not only for the ethical aspect of it, but also because their body is able to grow and maintain itself more effectively without having animal
Faster
products in it.
recovery.
Exactly. Yeah.
well,
Well,
think
that-
about how big a cow is,
Exactly.
and they just eat.
Just eat grass.
Just eat grass. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is, you know what, the grass name is actually very clever when you think about
What the grass?
what it stands for.
movement?
So yeah, it's the grassroots
Anti-speciesism.
anti-speciesism shift,
Correct.
which is one of the movements that's the
Very
one that
clever.
a lot of people may have heard about on the news, and that's the group that's organizing the ongoing protest out in front of Antler restaurant. here in
Oh, okay.
Toronto.
Yeah. So now the Cube of Truth, you're showing these underground films of
Various aspects of animal agriculture. So we have ones that are specialized on just meat, and trying to dispel the myth of humane meat, and shows and demonstrates how animals are killed for meat. One that concentrates just on the egg industry and kind of uncovers, because a lot of people choose things like eggs and dairy and maybe will think being a vegetarian is, doing the best that they can do, where things like eggs and dairy products are actually some of the most painful situations that we're exploiting animals in the food industry. So we have specialized short videos on these various different topics. Other topics include seafood as well as fur, and we wait for individuals to approach us in seeing these videos. So we have the different cubers, as we call them, members of that are holding televisions showing the footage and or a sign that says truth, and then individuals in the public come walking up, and once they start becoming engaged, then we would approach them and start using the Socratic method and asking them questions so that they can come to the conclusion themselves and acknowledge that this isn't the right thing to do.
Interesting.
I just want to add one thing. It's probably important to mention that all the footage, it's a free-range organic, so a lot of people are concerned that they are against factory farming, but they choose more sustainable or better options, and we're showing them that this is the best the animals can get.
Basically, things like free range and organic, these are ways of greenwashing to continue to promote the myth that there's a right way to do something that's wrong. And the fact is that if
There
it's
is
wrong,
no-
there's
yeah.
no right way to do it. Doesn't matter if they're happy cows and happy chickens and happy goats. Eventually, we're taking their life when it's not necessary. So we purposefully choose footage that is not of factory farm environments. We want to show what people think is the hypothetical happy situation so that they see that that isn't very happy either.
So how long have you been doing this down at Dundas Square?
1 year.
1 year.
Yeah, since March last year.
And did you do it through the winter as well?
Yeah.
And I mean, what kind of reactions do you get from the public?
Oh, all sorts of reactions, actually.
All sorts of reactions. I mean, there's going to be some individuals that
They haven't been stoned
are
yet
just
or anything. But.
yeah, there's going to be some individuals that are just going to walk by and some that are going to be upset about the situation. But there's a lot of individuals that get drawn in and they are confused at first. They don't necessarily know what's going on. And that's why we have the outreachers that are there to start explaining why we're here, what is going on here, and getting them to kind of connect the dots to recognize that all of these industries only exist because people continue to support them. And I can't control a lot of things in the world, but I can control what I put in my mouth 3 times a day. And that's a choice that is very easy for me to make. And that choice has so many different ramifications that are affecting so many different aspects of our life.
Now, some people talk about that it's really the choice to be vegan is a choice for a peaceful planet.
I would agree with that. I mean, when we think about it this way, we are always constantly in conflict because of discriminations and differences. One of the most basic discriminations that we are taught at a very young age is speciesism. The notion that because an animal is other than us, that gives us the right to discriminate. And on one hand, we're being told, look at the cute pig on television, but then we're feeding our children the cute pig. And this causes conflict within our mind. If we start saying that just because someone or something is different from us doesn't necessarily make it okay to discriminate against us, then it spills over into all different aspects of our life. We are no longer just going to say because someone looks different than us, then we can discriminate against us. Because they're a different gender than us, we can discriminate against them. Because they're a different age than us or have different abilities. So when we start recognizing that we have way more in common with each other as opposed to things that are separating us, and even when we do have things that do make us different, that's not a justification for discrimination.
Well, and it's so easy to discriminate against animals because they really can't speak up for themselves,
Exactly.
right?
Yeah, and if you think about even our language, if you call somebody a dog, a pig, or a chicken, these are offensive words
Yeah.
in our language. And by bringing, this minimum barrier up, saying that it's not okay to hurt chickens, it's not okay to hurt dogs or pigs, we don't let people to reduce other people to that level as well. That there's no more justification to be violent or do injustice to anyone, not just animals but humans as well. So.
Now, are there any plans to do anything else, or to expand the Cube of Truth, or take on additional projects for Anonymous for the Voiceless?
So, as Anonymous for the Voiceless, the Cube of Truth is the primary form of activism. The only other event that exists is a march, so Anonymous for the Voiceless March.
Well, you have the
which-
thing in August, the day after the Animal Rights March. Are we going to try to?
So that'll be
Make a
just another
giant.
cube. It'll be just a giant cube.
We wanna aim
with
to get
probably
a
a few
giant
hundred
cube.
participants.
Yeah.
Where's that one going to be?
No, it's
Your
gonna
front
be
yard cube.
You don't have to say if it's secret.
We're working out the details on what's going to be the most effective location right now. That's actually something that we're planning to try to get sorted out within this week, so that we can know, because generally our cubes will have usually 3 or 4 people by 3 or 4 people, sometimes 5 by 5. But we're talking about a cube that's going to be, significantly larger than that, and we want to make sure that we're going to have a good space for that. That's also going to have plenty of individuals that are going to be able to see it and to really appreciate what's going on. And that's coming up in the next few months. And we're actually this week. You're
Most
planning on
likely,
trying
yeah.
to get that sorted out.
Exactly.
I know Hugh wants to invite us over to have it, hold it in his backyard, but I don't think there's enough traffic. So.
Yeah, there's not a lot of traffic probably. Yeah.
Well, it's actually it's not that big.
No.
It's Toronto.
It's a Toronto
right?
backyard.
Yeah, it's a Toronto backyard.
Out there with your shears to cut your grass, right?
So did these things happen in other cities around the world
Yeah,
as well?
over
The cubes
550 cities at this point around the world, in over 50 countries. So it's being done in all different languages, on all different continents. Just trying to plant those seeds of awareness, try to get people to wake up a little bit about it.
And are there other cities in Canada where these are?
Oh yeah, for
happening?
sure. Ottawa, Vancouver.
Barrie?
Sure.
Mississauga?
Yeah, even local
Mississauga.
ones. Yeah.
Vancouver has them.
London.
London, Ontario.
Yeah. Okay.
Edmonton. Yeah, there's lots. So.
And for people that are watching, is there a way that they can participate, or what's the best way for people to become
yeah.
part of the?
So we organize ourselves through Facebook.
Yeah.
All they need to do, just go on the website cubeoftruth.com. It has a list of all chapters, and they can choose the city closest to them. It'll link them to the Facebook page, and just join the page. One thing, make sure to answer questions. It just has 3 questions in it.
Mm-hmm.
Are you vegan? How did you hear about us? And are you planning to participate in the cube? Because on Facebook there's lots of bots, and
Yeah.
we don't know who is a real person, who is not. This is
Right.
how we filter
Yeah.
to know that the person is real. So if you're joining, please answer that questions, and you will be added to the group right away.
And then once they're on that group, can they get in touch and come down and participate, or maybe I know you need a lot of people to do the giant
Absolutely.
cube of truth.
Well, absolutely. So once you join that group, then you will become aware of the scheduled events for this area or the area that's nearest you. And it will give you all the details. You show up. But generally, right now, we have 2 cubes a week happening here in Toronto at Yonge and Dundas. And by joining that group, then you would be aware of how the appropriate attire to wear, what time we're going to be meeting, where to be looking for people, some basic guidelines so that you're in the appropriate frame of mind, and so that you know what to expect at the event.
Yeah, there's also lots of footage online of the event. So both from Cuber's perspective, from the outreacher perspective, so people know exactly what to expect. And it's a very structured format, so it goes pretty much exactly the same way every time.
One of the great things about that is that if you're traveling in another part of the world, you can join the cube for that area, like the Anonymous for the Voices,
right.
and then you can show up and do outreach or be a member of the cube just about anywhere in the world. And so since it's the same formula being used over and over again, you're going to be familiar with the entire situation, and you can just jump right in.
Yeah. Plus meet some people
Exactly.
that share your values
Absolutely.
in another location.
That was one of the main reasons why I first started doing activism. Was I really wanted to get to know vegans that weren't just in the computer. When I first became vegan, I didn't really
Keyboard
know.
warriors, huh?
Exactly. I didn't really know too many actual vegans in real life, and so doing activism was a really great opportunity for me to do
Aw, now you're bookended right now, eh? Flanked.
Okay, great. So,
Hey, there's a Cube of Truth in Dublin on the Saturday morning that I arrived.
are you
so
going?
There you
That's
go.
awesome.
I asked John already. He does. I don't think he. I don't know. I don't know the
Well, you can
details
go say
yet.
hi
It
and then go to a
depends
pub.
on the car and stuff.
Right?
Yeah.
And the great thing is that even if you don't travel with your mask, they will have a mask there for you.
That's right.
Oh.
Oh, I travel
should-
everywhere I go. I got my mask.
You bring that on the plane, they'll think you're a terrorist.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I better check my mask, not have it as carry on.
Oh, I had another question. Oh yeah, when are the Cubes of Truth? If people want to come and just say hi and
So right
participate?
now they're on Friday, 6 to 9, and Saturday, 3 to 6.
3 to 6. So
Yeah.
that's a great thing to do on a Saturday afternoon. I mean, Sue, I know she's around in the neighborhood, but she never drops by.
Well, you're welcome to come by and experience the,
I have
the Cube
to.
of
Come
Truth
down and
yourself.
gild me.
Definitely.
Yeah,
Say,
well, I
come on
won't
over.
know which one is you because you'll be wearing that mask,
There you go.
right?
But we'd love to see you down. And anytime you want to come by, I'm more than happy to walk you through and show you what's going on each of the different screens there, so that you can
You
gain a little
won't,
awareness.
he's irresistible.
Awesome. Great. Okay, thank you guys for doing
Thank you.
this today and telling us all about it. So, cubeoftruth.com, links to the Facebook groups, and sign up for the one in your neighborhood.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, all right. So we're going to take a little break here on Liquid Lunch. We got Dr. Julie Chan coming up next, acupuncture, naturopath, Peace for Paws. And so we'll be right back. Backchannel.com. And we're back on the show. It's me, Hugh. Sue is here. Ditch Dairy.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah. Ditch Dairy, or
I think
if
we covered
you're
this.
covering up the D with your hair, so it
Oh,
looks
dear.
like you're the non-dairy witch.
Yeah. I'm itchy and airy with my hair covering.
Okay, and now we're moving along because we have Dr. Julie Chan joining us, who is an Are you an acupuncturist?
I'm an acupuncturist as well, yes.
And a naturopath.
Yes, that's right.
And also you have an organization called Peace for Paws. Fur Paws.
Peace
Yes.
Fur Paws, yeah.
F-U-R.
F-U-R.
I carried your
PAWS.
banner in a march.
Yes, you did. Thank you so much.
You're
I have those pictures still.
Really?
On the other side was Animals Asia.
Yes.
So.
Yeah.
Oh, Animals Asia.
Yeah. We also run the Toronto volunteer group for Animals Asia. So Peace for Paws and Animals Asia, you'll always see us together.
Okay, so what is Animals Asia all about?
So Animals Asia is a huge organization. So their main office is in Hong Kong. So they're based in China and Vietnam. They're probably the largest group right now tackling the bear bile industry.
The what, sorry?
The bear bile farming industry.
Bile?
Bile, yeah. So in Asia, they believe that bear bile has medicinal effects, aphrodisiac, so helps with male health. It's also used for pain. So what they do is they actually have bears that are contained in cages for 20, 30 years. It's a very cruel and painful process. Like, these bears have never stepped foot out of these cages, and they have these rusty catheters that they're just milking the bile out from the bears. And if anyone has ever had gallstones, you would know how painful it is when anything's done to your gallbladder.
Yeah.
So these bears are drugged with tons of painkillers, massive amount of drugs, antibiotics to keep them alive, basically, and they're just milking the bile, and they sell these, across the countries. It's a very horrible industry. So Animals Asia is reaching their 20th anniversary, and Jill Robinson is the founder, and she is a true hero. She actually works so closely with the Vietnamese government. So the Vietnamese government last year has agreed to end all bear bile farming by 2023.
Oh, that's a
Yeah,
huge
you've never.
huge
If you
achievement.
look this up online, you've just not seen anything like this
Well,
in your life. It's
Wow.
Yeah.
See, I didn't even know this.
Existed.
It was
existed.
actually, I was always an animal person, growing right from when I was a little kid. But I remember stumbling upon the bear bile industry in my teens, and it was,
Really? So you've known
Unbelievable.
about this for a long time?
well, maybe 5-10 years.
That's
Okay,
right.
maybe-
Well, I call that a long time.
Maybe 37 years. Maybe. Maybe.
Yeah, it's a gruesome industry, and thankfully Vietnam's making huge progress. So there's about 1,000 bears still in captivity
In Vietnam?
in Vietnam, but they will be transferred out slowly into sanctuary. So it's still in the works of how this process will take place.
And they're so ill.
They're
The
very
bears,
ill.
so they need to be basically nurtured back to health.
Oh, for sure.
Every single bear requires emergency surgery, so every single one will require their gallbladders to be removed. Many of them do have liver tumors just from so many years of, of extractions that there's so much toxicity and damage done. So many of them do suffer from quite a lot of health problems, dental issues, because they're biting on the bars. Many of the bears in China are also missing their paws because they're removed to sell to as bear paw soup and all that. So, I mean, there's a lot of health issues with the bears, but Animals Asia has an extensive medical team. You should see some of their rescues. Some of the bears took 5 to 6 days to actually get to, because these farms are so desolate in areas where it's very hard to get to. You're talking about taking the truck, the car, the boat, then walking, then trekking through the forest before you can get to some of these bears. So the rescues are just phenomenal. They're usually shown live streamed. There's clips of them on their Facebook page. And you can see the rescues. It's phenomenal. China now still has over 10,000 bears in captivity. So hopefully we'll make more progress in China soon.
Wow.
Yeah, there is
So,
progress. There is progress, but it's a little bit slower than in Vietnam.
Like
but
what
yeah.
kind of progress?
Well, first of all, is the education is huge. So Animals Asia does a lot of work with not only schools, but they work with universities. They work with actual animal rangers. They're training people to learn how to educate the public about how there are healthy substitutes for bear bile. Because the main thing is the medicinal parts, right? That they're extracting it for. They're selling it as a medicinal ingredient. Animals Asia has worked with many of the traditional Chinese associations for medicine to create herbal alternatives
Oh.
to the bear bile, and it's been created. There's actually 2 or 3 Chinese medicine books showing all the herbs that can replace bear bile, and they run these free clinics actually where they're giving these medicines to villagers and people so they can try it and see that it actually works. And it's slowly educating people that there's an alternative, and that there is a way to get the same medicinal ingredients without having to torture the bears, essentially.
Right.
And so it's an educational process. I find that it's more so the older generation that's also using a lot of the bear bile products. A lot of the younger folks, you know, the kids for sure, they're becoming the ambassadors for the bears. They're educating their parents back about, you know, why we shouldn't be using it or why this shouldn't be done. So there's a lot of changes going on. Yeah.
So, because as we were just talking about, the vegan movement seems to be really picking up
Yeah.
steam here in Canada, USA, Europe. So, but you're saying it sounds like the same kind of, I don't know whether you would call it evolution of consciousness, is happening to a certain extent also in Asia.
Well, it's just like
Absolutely.
this wave
Yeah.
of awakening just going across the planet.
Yeah,
right?
you'll see all these animal advocates in China, Vietnam. They're all locals, right? They're joining these movements. They're the ones intercepting trucks and dog meat trucks, and you know, it's incredible. So there's a lot of movement going on. There's still a lot that needs to be done, a lot of education, but it's coming along.
So, and you're saying this is part? Is it part of traditional Chinese medicine? The bile.
It's a very old form of Chinese medicine.
Okay.
There's a lot of Chinese doctors who have never used it, are not even taught how to use it. But you're looking at some villagers or some areas, and if you look at Vietnam, most of the bear bile farming occurs in northern Vietnam. So a lot of the, I would say, more older folk medicine, Chinese medicine practices will use it.
I see.
Same with, you know, tiger bone and all of that. But, you know, I'm a trained acupuncturist and I've learned of herbology, right? It's never been in any of our
I
textbooks
see.
to ever use bear bile.
Yeah.
And it's not, I don't think it's allowed in Canada anyways, right? So, but I think it's more in older texts. And yeah.
What kind of bears? I mean, we're used to black bears,
moon
grizzly
bears.
bears, in
Moon
North
bears
America.
and sun bears are the most common.
Moon bears?
Moon bears. So they're
They have this.
really beautiful crescent.
Oh.
So you'll see that is sort of they're smaller. They're
Yeah.
more docile type bears.
I see.
Sun bears are also usually used too.
I
Yeah.
like that. Moon bears and sun,
Sun
bears.
bears.
That's
Yeah.
They're beautiful
They're
creatures.
Beautiful, beautiful bears.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, so and then Peace for Paws. Did you start this organization?
So I started Peace for Paws about 4 years ago.
Yeah.
Shortly after I turned vegan, and it was at the same time that we were asked to take on the Toronto Leadership for Animals Asia. So they kind of
Oh, I see.
came together at the same time. Yeah.
So why did you turn vegan? What happened?
It's a long story.
Good.
Long story. But I'll start off with it to keep the story short. You know, it started off in high school. You know, in grade 9 was when I found out about factory farming. You know, someone gave me a book about how animals are slaughtered, how they're transported, how they're raised, and it was like reading a horror book. But it was real. You know, nothing was exaggerated in any means. You know, everything was as is. And I think in grade 9 when I read it, it really, really traumatized me. You know, I started really thinking about where does our food come from? And growing up, I was not a healthy kid. I was born here, so I grew up on a traditional North American diet. I drank milk every day. You know, I'm the perfect example of how milk does not make you tall. You know, the myth of how it makes you tall and strong, it is a complete myth. I drank milk every day thinking that I was tall, but you know what? I am the smallest one in my family, okay? And I grew up on a traditional North American diet. We had Asian food as well, but I would sneak in the pizzas and, you know, all the cheese and all that as my afternoon snacks. And then I wouldn't eat my Chinese food at dinner because I was so full from the other stuff. And
Was Suki a good girl?
She
That's
was
her
very
sister.
good.
She's
My
a friend of
sister has always eaten well. You know,
Oh.
she's never
She's
taken
vegan
a
as well.
She's vegan as well. She's never taken the liking to, you know, the North American foods as much as I have, but she's way healthier than I am. So growing up, I was a very sick child. So I think in grade 9, when I read about the factory farming, the animals, it really started making me think about, wow, what are we eating? You know, what are we putting into our mouths? So I kind of bounced back and forth between being a vegetarian, back to pescatarian, then eating a little bit of chicken, back to vegetarian throughout many, many years. And it was very hard back then because I didn't know anyone who was vegan vegetarian, so I had very little support. And it wasn't until I started looking into Chinese medicine, which was really what turned my health around in university, that I then knew about, oh, there's a naturopathic program, you know, and that I started going this route into holistic medicine, and I think it really changed my life around.
So you have knowledge of traditional Chinese medicine
Yes.
and natural.
Yeah. So part of the naturopathic medicine program includes training in traditional Chinese medicine and acupuncture. It also includes training in herbal medicine, in homeopathy, physical medicine. We kind of have to learn everything, including conventional medicine, prescribing, drugs, and all that. So we're kind of the general practitioners in holistic medicine. And so that's how I learned a lot about it. And, you know, I think going to naturopathic school was the best decision of my life.
Now, there's probably naturopaths out there that aren't vegans.
Actually, I'm one of the few. I'm one of 2 vegan naturopaths
That's
that
only
I
2?
know. One of 2 vegan naturopaths. Yes, it is quite shocking. Well, in naturopathic college, they taught us a lot about diet. It's a big improvement from what most people know, but they don't have a lot of training in vegan vegetarian diet. So this is sort of me post-grad, started practicing, really wrapping my head around all the research and all the information, because there's so much misinformation out there. There are a lot of fad diets out there, a lot of bad information out there, and people thinking, you know, high protein, low carb's good, you know, all these type of diets. So it took me quite a few years to sort everything out. And about 4 years ago was when I said, you know what, I don't know why I'm not vegan.
So
It's the best diet to be on.
so taking all that knowledge that you absorbed by becoming a naturopath and a holistic health doctor, that, I mean, it led you
It led me.
to be a vegan.
Yes.
So how come more
Yes.
naturopaths aren't vegan?
That's a great question.
It's kind of like
That's a
that
great
question,
question.
why aren't more veterinarians vegan?
Yeah.
It's the same kind of
Yeah.
thing. It's just habits and traditions.
Yeah,
and-
habits, traditions, and actually it's not well taught. I don't think in any medicine program. Any program. You know, even nutritionists, there's not very many vegan
Nutritionists, they'll put
nutritionists, right?
Jell-O on your plate.
Right? Yeah. Yeah. Well, when I used to volunteer at the hospital and I was helping the stroke departments
Yeah.
and people post surgery.
Oh, yeah. Bacon.
You know what they fed them? It
Bacon
would
and
be-
eggs.
Yeah, it would be
Oh, no.
mashed potatoes,
Oh,
orange
I
juice
know.
with always a box of milk.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
ridiculous.
A
Right?
blob
Like-
of meat,
A
your
blob of
potatoes,
meat.
and a small bit of
Yeah, and you're
vegetable.
supposed to eat that
Yeah.
post-surgery
Oh,
and
yeah,
thinking
yeah,
you'd
yeah,
get better,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
So, you know, it was a combination of knowing about the animal welfare aspects, the cruelty behind it, alongside with all the knowledge I have about health, that, you know, 4 years ago I just said, why am I not vegan? And I just said, that's the way to go. And I
You
wish
have
I did
so
sooner.
much information on your website as well. Like I was going through it, and yeah, like
Like
you.
what kind of information?
I think Julie's probably best to speak
Which
to that.
website are we talking about?
Here.
The work one?
The work one.
Work one, yeah.
yeah.
There's a lot of information. There's too much to cover.
Which one is your work one?
LibertyWellness.ca.
Liberty Wellness.
LibertyWellness.ca, yes. So my practice is in Markham, and I run a plant-based practice. So, helping patients to get healthier are my biggest goals. We've always learned, and one of the beauties of naturopathic medicine is, we don't believe that health is simply the absence of disease. It's a well-being of the body and mind. So when we look at patients, we really look from physical, emotional, mental, even spiritual aspects of a patient to see, are they really healthy? And so it's wonderful being able to work with patients in that aspect and really understanding, what are the causes to their health conditions. And what I have seen through my years of practice, and I've been practicing for almost 12 years now, is that majority of the time it's your diet and lifestyle.
Of course, right?
Right.
Food is your first medicine.
Yeah.
Right? That's why we got that popcorn machine over there.
Yeah.
But I'm just curious, in Ontario, and this is just asking about your naturopathic practice, and because in Ontario, of course, regular doctors, medical doctors, it's all part of our OHIP,
Yes.
socialized medicine. And are you guys covered by that at all?
No, so we're considered privatized doctors.
Right.
So people who have extended health insurance often will have naturopathic coverage, and now they should have acupuncture coverage, most of them as well.
Right.
So naturopathic medicine has been regulated since 1925, and a lot of people don't know that. And we've been regulated for almost 100 years, but because our profession is very small, there was only one college for the longest time. We now have two. It opened
In
up a
Ontario?
few years ago
Or-
in British Columbia, I
Oh.
think, in Alberta, in the West Coast.
So there's only two in
There's
Canada.
only two in Canada, and they only take on about 150 students a year.
Wow.
So there's very few grads every year.
Yeah.
So our profession is quite small. And so a lot of people still don't really know exactly what we do. Like sometimes we explain to patients,
Yeah.
for 5 minutes, what is it we do? And so we have quite a broad scope. We are trained in a lot of things that conventional doctors are trained in. So we can actually legally do blood tests, physical exams, but we just can't requisition someone, let's say, send someone to a specialist directly, nor for imaging. So any type of ultrasounds, x-rays, you'll still have to go through a family doctor.
Right.
But we can do a lot of diagnostics. We know how to read all the test results. So with my patients, I always require them to bring in their lab results because I like to see them with my own eyes.
Right.
And we don't read lab values quite the same way as medical doctors. We look at optimal ranges as opposed to just normal ranges.
I see.
Yeah, because we want to optimize someone's health.
Right. So
Yeah.
for somebody that doesn't just want to get, solve their sickness, their symptom, their illness that they're feeling right now, but they want to be optimally healthy
Optimal
all the
yeah.
time.
A lot of times people are not feeling well, but their blood test results will still be perfectly normal.
Oh yeah. So
But they're
doctor
not
says nothing
optimal.
wrong with you.
That's
right?
actually the one of the most common things people come in, what they say to me, and why they're here to see me is because they're not feeling well, but all the reports show normal,
Yeah.
right?
Doctor
That's why I
can-
like to look at them myself.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because
That's-
often they're out of optimal,
Yeah.
right?
Do you think what would happen if naturopathic doctors were covered under the medical system? What would happen?
I think there would be more limitations in a way,
Yeah.
right? Because with OHIP under so much stress financially already, it's a big burden for the government right now financially.
Yeah.
Because if you go to the U.S., I have patients who come up from the U.S. to see me because they can't even afford to get a blood test done down there. Right? So I think that it would cause more strain. It would probably cause more restrictions with what we can do because now, we're probably limited to what we can test and how much we can do with each patient.
But what you're saying is, as a privatized doctor, essentially, it's cheaper for Americans to come and see you here in Canada
Absolutely.
than for them to deal with privatized doctors in the U.S.
Oh, absolutely. I have patients who come up just to get their regular checkups done and all that because it is way more expensive to get, a blood test done in the States than to do it up here.
Right.
Yeah.
But think about it. It's like I'm just thinking in terms of course, the healthcare system is expensive. It's getting more expensive all the time. The cost of
Yeah.
drugs, right?
Yeah.
The cost of trying to cure symptoms. it just seems to me like a more preventative approach
Absolutely, and that's
would cost the system less if it can wrap its head
Yeah,
around
we're
that
definitely
whole
a
issue.
sickness care system, not a,
Yeah,
you
not a
know,
preventative.
A wellness system.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That
and,
would
and
be
that's
nice.
what we look for, right? Is we want to prevent diseases and illnesses before they come up.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we don't want to wait until there's so many system issues. You know, by then, it's hard to reverse.
I don't know
right?
what's going to happen with, of course, within individual illness, but even the healthcare system itself, using a bigger and bigger portion of the provincial budget every year. It's like something's got to happen,
Yeah.
but the government has to get smart. I don't know if that's going to happen anytime soon, especially as we approach the upcoming provincial election. Okay, so Peace for Paws. I know you got a bake sale.
Yes, we have a bake sale coming up. It's a vegan bake sale.
Vegan bake sale.
I know it's not that very healthy. I mean, but this is for the animals.
It's
But
not.
that's what
This is for the animals.
This will drive people to your practice.
Wait, you
then,
got
right?
cupcakes. What do you mean it's not healthy?
Well, that wasn't the goal, but you know, they might have to
But
come
hey,
after for a
if it
detox.
works, yeah.
But yes, it's gonna be June 9th, and it's pretty much an all-day bake sale, 12 to 5. We'll be there. Is it 12 to 5 actually? 11 to 5. 11 to 4.
Oh, yeah, 11 to 4.
Yeah. We're gonna have a lot of great
Misleading the
stuff.
public here.
Wait, where is it? No.
It's in Markham, so it's a bit of a trek from downtown Toronto.
People from Markham could be watching this. I
exactly.
heard they got internet up there now.
Oh, yes, they do.
They got-
So it's going to be in Markham. We work with the Pet Value up in Markham. They're wonderful.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, they always let us do events there and all that. So, you know, hopefully people can come up, try some vegan baked goods. I mean, last year we had mainly non-vegans come because they didn't know. They just saw bake sale, and we got swarmed by the swimming club.
you know,
and they
Like
couldn't
locusts
believe.
descending.
You want
Yeah,
to
they
attract non-vegans? Have a
That's-
bake sale.
yeah.
Exactly. They couldn't believe the stuff was vegan. Because my family, one of my family members, she doesn't like to be named because she's embarrassed, like she's very humble. She makes the cinnamon buns, and I'm telling you, they're the
Oh, yeah.
best cinnamon buns.
Well, I love your
Wait.
cake mix.
Oh yes.
Yeah, your
yes,
chocolate.
thank
Wait,
you.
are they as
Yeah.
good? Like, are they kind of like the Cinnabons?
They're very close. They're very close.
Because those Cinnabons are
Yeah, she does a great job.
okay.
So we're gonna see you there.
Yeah, where is the Pet Value in Markham?
It's near it's right in the Whole Foods Plaza. So Highway 7 and Birchmount is the intersection.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to visualize right now. It's a Whole Foods Plaza?
Yeah, so Whole Foods is in the plaza. There's a Pet Value, and there's some other stores there.
Okay.
Yeah, so we'll be right on the sidewalk there.
Outside?
Outside, yeah. We'll
Nice.
also be with the Markham Animal Care Committee.
Oh,
They
great.
will be throwing a big sidewalk sale, so they're fundraising to help domestic and wildlife animals as well. So they'll be there with us.
Great. So anybody in Markham or is going to be up that way on
Yeah.
the what's the date again?
Saturday, June 9th.
June 9th.
Yeah.
I hope the weather's good. Well, the
I hope
weather's
so.
getting good, getting
Yeah.
better every day almost.
Yeah. Hopefully it'll be like today.
Do you have any other events coming up that you want to let people know about?
Yeah, so every year in September we run an annual 5K walk. So all the proceeds this year will be donated to Animals Asia. We're also working with the Save Movement as well as Zoo Check. So the proceeds will be going to them. And this year is going to be on September 29th. And same plaza that we head off from. So we're going to be setting off from there and doing our 5K. All dogs and pets are welcome, you know, to come join us. We will be opening up registration for the 5K near the end of June. So people can go to peaceforpaws.org and keep an eye out for that. And yeah, everyone who registers will get a free t-shirt as well. So we're really excited. Yeah.
Peaceforpaws.org.
Org, yeah.
And you're going to leave from Highway 7 in Birchmount.
Birchmount, yeah.
You should
in
see if you
September.
can end the walk right outside the front door of your clinic or something.
Well, where are you going to go? Do you have the route marked out yet?
We usually walk through Main Street, Unionville. It's very scenic there. There's a Two Good Pond.
Yeah.
We probably will do a similar route from last year, depending on the weather. Like last year, it was really hot and the walk was a little over 5K, and some people definitely noticed that. So we're gonna gauge the weather. Yeah.
Well, I'm
It will
sure if
be
they
around.
come and see you and have their naturopathy done beforehand, they'll be able to get healthy enough. that
Rare.
they can
Yeah.
do that even if it's another hot.
They can do a jog even.
Yeah.
Yeah. 5K run.
Yeah. Okay, that's great. So,
Thank you.
Julie, thanks for coming in today and telling
Thank
us
you
all
so
about
much.
this stuff. So, of course, peaceforpaws.org,
That's
right? Or your practice libertywellness.ca. And where's your office?
It's at Warden and Highway 7, so it's actually just 2 blocks from.
In that building, that tall building? That's
Yeah,
there?
where Gal Sushi is. You know where that one is? There's an HSBC.
Is it that
building.
tall building there?
It's a
that's
tall
there?
building. I'm in the building beside the tall building.
okay, good.
Yeah, it's in the same plaza though.
All right.
Not a whole
Great.
lot of tall buildings in Markham.
Well, no, I mean, there was a time when that
was
was
farmland.
that was
Yeah.
all country,
Yeah.
not even that
Oh,
long
so
ago,
sad.
and then it was still country, and they built that building there, like 20 stories or whatever, right in the middle of a field. It's
Dang,
like
eyesore.
weird.
Yeah. Well, it's gonna be like that everywhere.
I know.
I know.
Okay. Okay. Thanks, Julie.
Thank you so much.
Okay, we're gonna take another little break. Then we got Mathilda coming on, right?
With her grub.
Grub.
With her
Yes, we're gonna have some grub. That's always the best part. So far, we've had
Yeah.
grub every Monday, right?
Yeah.
Okay, good. So we'll be,
Yeah.
yeah. All right, we'll be right back. That's
I'm no dummy. Oh, just a slang for food.
All right, welcome back to the show. It's me, Hugh Seuss here, and now this is the food portion of the show. I'm already eating. Everyone's here. Martin is freaking out.
The most popular
enjoying.
person in the room is now here. Right?
Yeah, Mathilda Irawan, and she brought the food, right?
Yes, thank you for having me.
And this is what do you call this one? It's like
Tofu scramble.
tofu scramble. It's kind of like scrambled eggs.
Yeah.
But-
Better.
Without all
better
the ill
though.
effects.
I don't know. I've had people say it's
No, it's-
actually better than scrambled
It's
egg.
and I have to say, sometimes because in the vegan world there are like vegan meats, right? And sometimes they taste
Funny?
honey.
That's a
they're-
technical term, right? Funny.
But this doesn't taste funny at all.
Oh, okay. I'm glad. I have had funny tasting, quite a few, because I experiment. I'm a food adventurer. So wherever we go out, I'll be the person that never orders the same thing
Good for
twice, right?
Wow.
Like, so that's a lot of risk.
Yeah. Especially when you're peeling off money too.
Exactly. So even when I go to the grocery, oh my God, they have this vegan stuff. I'm like, well, I have to try it. So then, I'll
the
know
same
what
way.
it's like, and then people have questions. And
Yeah.
Well, you can incorporate it into your catering business. and
Yeah.
whatever.
Oh,
Yeah.
so you've got a catering business
Yeah, it's launching in June.
launching in June, so
Yes.
it's new. This is pre-launch food
Yes.
that we're eating today.
I'm running a cookbook as well.
You are
Yes, I am.
a vegan
Is-
cookbook.
Of course.
Is it going to be called a lamb as well, or
I think it's more along the line of awaken, because I'm
Okay.
on this journey of awakening.
You are.
Yes, I
What,
am.
what are you awakening from, and what are you awakening to?
Awakening to, essentially, under the big umbrella is self-love, right? Love and yeah.
Love.
Yeah, because we have a disease of hatred and self-hatred especially, right? And the most violent act that we could do is towards ourselves, really, before we do it unto others, right? We have a lot of pain, I used to neglect and abuse myself a lot, and I think that's what led me to being sick in my 20s.
Yeah, let's talk about that a little bit, because you mentioned that before we came on that you were sick, and that then you became vegan,
Yes,
and your illnesses
All
or
went
your
away.
sickness disappeared. So,
I went away.
you want to just tell us the story? How did you get sick
Sure.
in your 20s?
I was working in the healthcare industry. When they look at Asian, I'm like, oh, you have good genes. What do you mean, like good genes? My both grandparents are obese. I only have one grandmother left. They have heart disease, stroke, diabetes, thyroid, cancer, you name it, right? Alzheimer's. It all ran in my family. They all have it, but we won't get into the gene part because I've since evolved my knowledge about the gene from reading Dr. Bruce Lipton's work, The Biology of Belief.
Dr. Lipton, we just were talking about him
Oh,
last week.
awesome.
Yeah.
Yes, you should definitely look into his work. Amazing, amazing. It really allows you to take your power back and like no more excuses about, oh, it's in my gene. None of that.
No.
None of that. Yeah.
So, okay. What, they looked at you just because you were Asian? They said, oh, you got to have good genes?
Yeah. And I was overweight. Actually, I was borderline obese. I work in the healthcare industry. I was working at nursing homes, in the community, and I was lifting heavy people, right? And even when they were feeding these people, I'm like, what kind of food are you feeding? The healthcare system is so broken.
Jello?
Yeah.
Is there some Jello
At the
involved?
hospital, a cardiac patient gets mac and cheese 3 days in a row.
that's crazy.
Now that's
Right?
3 days in a row? Yeah.
Like things like that, and they're feeding all the processed food, all this refined sugar, and all
Drumming up
these
business for
fat,
themselves, huh?
dairy. Oh my gosh, yeah, it's almost like it's designed to get you sicker. But you know what? Not sick enough that you'll die, but sick enough that you need all these medications, but not quite healthy enough that you're going to be off everything and just enjoy life and not need anything.
Right.
It's so
Right?
crazy. I mean, you go to a hospital and the food that they give the patients is like laughable.
It
It's
is.
like, and I've just sat around with friends and they weren't vegan or anything, but we're laughing at how ridiculous the food is, even for people that, I mean, and these are nutritionists that are educated in food, and they are the ones who are dishing this stuff out to patients, and everybody knows
Yeah.
that this stuff is unhealthy. It's just ridiculous. This is just an example of how our whole healthcare
Yeah.
system has completely
Yes.
missed the boat.
And you wonder why we're spending billions of dollars, and how much longer are we gonna be able to keep that up? Free healthcare? You better not count on it. By the time I retire, they're guaranteed no free healthcare. I would have to pay for everything.
Yeah.
No pension.
Yeah.
Too.
Yeah.
So I have to look after myself. So I started developing arthritis and joint pain, and I injured myself a few times. I had herniated my disc a few times to the point where I was bedridden. I couldn't even
You mean your
walk.
lower back?
Yes.
Yeah.
I couldn't. They had to call the ambulance, and I was on the stretcher, and the seniors were laughing at me. She's supposed to be the one looking after
Yeah.
us, you know, like kind of thing. And I was humiliated.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, it was like one of the lowest moments of my life. But
Well, all
wasn't-
that inflammation in your body
all
from
that
the food you're
information
eating.
and the weight gain too,
Exactly.
right? Because then after I hurt my back, I couldn't do a lot of things, so it was like a double-edged sword almost. And then I was anemic, so I believe that I was taught, oh, you got to eat all the livers and red meat, all that stuff, right? But it didn't help.
Yeah.
It didn't help. And those pills have all kinds of other side effects, right? And I didn't like taking pills because then I don't like being dependent on something like, to the
Yeah,
point
slave
where
to it.
Exactly. I don't like being enslaved like that. So I didn't know. And what else did I have? I had PCOS, which is polycystic ovarian syndrome,
Yeah.
endometriosis, painful cramps, painful period, fibroids.
Wow.
What else? Yeah, all
That's
that.
amazing.
That was
And-
I'm shocked that you were able to get over the PCOS.
Yes.
From
I was at the doctor's every couple of months running some tests, and I had ultrasounds. It must have been it felt like every couple of months I was at the lab getting an ultrasound done.
and you were in your 20s.
Like middle to late 20s, yeah. And then when I was 29, I was at my heaviest, and then I just I can't do this anymore. I was battling feelings of depression
For sure.
too. I don't like using even labeling depression, anxiety, like feelings of anxiety and feelings of depression and things like that. And it was just like, is this all there is to life? It can't be. I'm not even 30 yet, and oh, you're gonna get 30. You're gonna be 30. It's downhill after that. You know that. I'm like, oh, I don't want it to be, right? Because my mom has to be like one of the healthiest people I know. She's a devout yogi. She's been a yogi for 20 plus years, a daily practice. And she went pescatarian before I went vegan. But that was more of a spiritual reason for her, because she had a lot of anger issues. So she said, I want to have more of a meditation and be more spiritual and be more patient and not be so angry. And she believed that red meat, cutting out meat from her diet would help her with that. So, so I gave her focus, I guess. And my grandmother is Buddhist too, so I think she was exposed to that too. And I've always admired vegetarians.
Really?
I think they're strong. I'm like, you could do that? Like,
What do you mean?
I
Just
can't
you can't
not
stop
eat
eating
meat. Yeah, I love meat. From the moment I wake up, my breakfast has to have meat.
Not-
To have meat. Yeah,
Not anymore.
not anymore. Yeah.
Well, now you
Until
make your own
3-4
tasty
times.
things.
Yeah,
That
4
re-
times a day, right? People were just like, they know. I'm like, oh, Mathilda's gonna eat all these food. Like, whenever there's food, I will eat it. So
So you're on a seafood diet.
yes, I
Seafood?
seafood I
you
eat.
eat it.
That's right. Correct. Yeah.
Oh, another badum bum. We have one a show, at least.
So then what happened?
So I looked into vegetarianism because I always admired, and whenever we had potlucks, I would be like, oh, there's a vegetarian? Oh, you know what? They must not have a lot of choices to eat. So I always strive to be the one making the vegetarian dish, something so they could eat it, right? So I never had this hatred, I guess, towards vegans and vegetarians. I didn't know vegan at that time, but I always said, wow, it must take a lot of willpower or something,
Discipline
you know?
and-
Yeah, discipline. So that inner strength
Yeah.
really like intrigued me. And then I look at some YouTube videos and I know I can't eat that. No, I don't think I can eat that. No. Or they're making something, oh no, that looks so bland. I can't eat that, right? So when I started going on a more spiritual journey, we're all spiritual beings having human experience, right? So I focused more on and committed to remembering who I am, why I'm here, finding my purpose, basically because there has to be a meaning to my life. Right? There has to be something. That led me to wonderful people, and one of them is Elizabeth Rose. She's a channel, and I think I just needed that kick in the butt because I was already losing weight. But I was working out like crazy. I was running to the point where I couldn't run anymore because I really hurt my knee. And then I hated the gym. If there is one thing I despise, is working out and the gym. I do not like the gym. Sorry for all those gym goers. I don't like working out. I don't believe that. Why are we struggling so much? Why do we need to struggle? Why do we need to suffer so much? That can't be true, right? I always have this question in the back of my mind. Why can't life be easier, be easy, effortless? And so that's what I'm trying to teach people, because now I do a lot less. I don't work out anymore. And I have been getting a lot more results by doing more internal work, emotional work, more spiritual work. And the weight just came off, especially when I went vegan. I was also diabetic. My doctor was going to put me on metformin after I had already lost about 20 pounds at that point. And he's like, oh, I'm going to put you on a pill. And I'm like, no. I said no, because I knew what happens. They'll never take them off.
Food is your medicine.
Right? Never take them off. But then I was reading all this. The common advice is what? Stay off carbs, cut down sugar, and this and that and that. And I'm like, okay. Then I look at the people that are doing this, they're still on the meds. So they're just managing their symptoms. Well, I'm not interested in managing symptoms. I want to get rid of it completely. I want to heal myself. So my sister's fiance had been vegan probably a year and a half before I went vegan, and he's always like, you know, he released maybe like 85 pounds or something. And he was really young. He's still young, he's 22 now. But he said, you should look into Dr. Neil Bernard, Michael Greger, and all these vegan doctors that are healing their patients and getting them off medications, right? And they're not suggesting, like, all these things that the common knowledge, cutting off, you know, carbs and all that stuff, go on a low-carb diet, because I've done all that stuff, and it brought me actually to become diabetic. Yeah, so I'm like, you know what? I'm going to read up on it. I'm going to give myself a month and just do it. So I went on a high-carb diet, low protein, low fat. That got rid of it completely, and I released the excess weight that I couldn't really get rid of, because you hit a plateau, right?
Oh, wait, that doesn't sound necessarily vegan.
Sorry?
That doesn't sound vegan. What? Wait.
High carbs?
Yeah, high carbs.
What's wrong with carbs?
No, I'm just
There's
saying
nothing
that
wrong with
doesn't
carbs.
sound. I'm not saying, but it doesn't sound vegan.
And
Or-
it doesn't
or
sound
is it?
healthy?
Oh no, I was already venturing into this journey.
So you're already vegan?
Yes, just starting
Oh,
my
I see,
journey.
okay.
Yes.
All right.
Yes. So the weight just came off and everything else went away. I think it was 2 months into going vegan. I didn't go into the processed meat and all the processed vegan stuff. I just pretty much cut out I love ethnic foods. I cook a lot of Thai food, Indonesian food, Malaysian food, Indian food. So I just pretty much take all the meat out and dairy out of the food that I was eating. So it was a whole foods, plant-based. And within 2 months, I noticed that my inflammation was gone.
And what does that mean exactly? Inflammation.
So my
meaning-
pain,
like arthritis.
the arthritis, the joint pain, and I love gardening. So usually I know that I pay a price. After I get out there in the garden for a couple hours, I know that the next day I could hardly move, and my back would just kill me.
Well, we want to be more alkaline, is it? Or
More alkaline,
yeah,
yeah.
rather than
Yeah.
what's the other one?
Acid.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
We gave her alkaline water. That's alkaline
Yes,
water.
thank you. It's delicious.
Okay, good.
So yeah,
So
when you
I
eat
was
meat
gardening.
and dairy, it
Wait.
just
I see. I didn't know this, right? Because when that friend of mine said, "You need to go vegan," this is what the message I'm getting for you. You need to go vegan because we have no right to take another being's life, and we have no right to contribute to somebody else's suffering. And I didn't really think about that. I didn't really make the connection.
yeah,
I never thought about that, right? Ignorance is bliss almost, right?
it is.
But I just never made the connection, and I was like, oh my God, you're right. How can I be on a self-love journey and a journey of love and awakening when I'm still contributing to all these violence and all this torture that I didn't know? I watched Earthlings, by the way, that very same day. I cried for hours.
I've never made it through Earthlings.
I prayed for the strength to be able to finish that documentary because I knew that I needed to watch it, because I watched Forks Over Knives a few years back before that, and it didn't do anything for me because it was more towards the health
Yeah,
aspect of it. It didn't hit me.
yeah.
It didn't hit me. I
Didn't
wasn't sick
resonate
enough.
with you.
Yeah, I wasn't
yeah,
sick enough,
yeah.
and I love meat too much,
Yeah.
right? So I'm like, no, I no. But that, coming from a spiritual aspect of where I was in my journey, it really hit me. So the health aspect of it came as a side effect. So it's one of the best things I've ever done for me and for the animals and for the environment, and it's just a win-win for everyone.
Well, where does your clinic factor into this then?
Well, you
in
got a
your journey?
clinic?
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, not a clinic.
I have a
clinic,
wellness
a studio.
I have a wellness
Yeah.
studio, wellness
Yeah.
clinic, yes, where I'm a master hypnotist.
Really?
I do past life regression, soul journeys, and things like that.
Could I get you to hypnotize a few people around here later?
We can do a
To
guided
do your
meditation.
bidding.
Sure. Yeah.
Get you a cup of coffee.
Yeah. I incorporate yoga. People are always scared when I hear the word hypnosis, right? Because they all know the stage hypnotist making you do things that are funny and
Yeah.
silly and all that stuff. But I do clinical and spiritual, so weight loss, smoking, and things like that. So I do yoga, and I incorporate the hypnosis part to not just make it a physical release, but also an emotional healing, spiritual healing, because eventually at the root cause of all our problems, there's a spiritual answer for it, right? Because we're all spiritual beings, just trying to figure this life out.
Yeah, we're all searching for.
We're all searching for something. We're trying, this is our school, right? Here we're learning. So what are we trying to learn, and how fast can we learn this? So the speed that you're willing to learn these lessons will determine how long are you going to have that abusive partner, how long are you going to have that bully of a friend or a boss, right? So just bringing it all together, and then my love for food and cooking. Of course, I love feeding people, and everybody says, you really should open a restaurant. You need to do something with food. You need to do something with food. And I'm always bringing treats for my clients anyway,
well, look
and
right here
all this
what
and
we've
that, right?
got.
And yeah, so it all just kind of come together, body, mind, and spirit. Now it all just kind of comes together, and it feels so right. It feels, you're on the right path. I don't say right or wrong anymore. I say what works and what doesn't work. So you're on the right path when you feel peace, and you look forward to waking up each morning, and you just look forward to living, basically. And
So it sounds like it may have affected not just your inflammation and your other health issues, your diabetes, your weight issues, but also your emotional well-being as well?
Yes. Oh, and the congestion went away. And it's just, I think, if you're going on a spiritual journey and you don't look into your body and how you're treating your body, I don't like being a hypocrite. That's one thing. I have to align myself. Like, I don't like lying awake at night thinking, well, I teach somebody this, but I don't really practice it. I don't really do it. I don't like that, right? So I always, how can I align myself better with what I teach and with what I counsel people? So I started looking more into the health things, like reading books like Proteinaholic by Dr. Garth Davis, and Neil Bernard, Michael Greger, John McDougall.
And
what's
they've been
it,
around
Star
for
Solution.
100 years, these
They've been
guys.
around for over like
Ages.
40, 50
Yeah,
years,
these
right?
guys are really
Just healing
old.
their patients from the food they eat. So I teach more about a lot of what I teach is about self-love. How are you treating yourself? How are you treating your body? Starting with your plate, right? Because that, and I also believe, I invite people to really think about this. No choice is ever personal. Not one single choice. Think about it. Because my father is now more pescatarian, so
There's some effect on
correct. Yes.
somebody or something.
Even if they don't care about animals,
Yeah.
okay? Even if you don't care about animals, okay, that's fine. But you choose to eat that steak every day, your health is going to be impacted because we're not monks who are trained to control our thoughts 24/7. Like, I think there's only like a handful of people who could do that in total control of their thoughts, right? Even me practicing every day, I'm not 100%, you know? So unless you are in control, saying that you believe everything you put into your body will be healing and can do you so much good, we're not like that. So it has an effect. And when you start getting sick, who needs to look after you? It's your family, right? Your choices, starting with the food that you eat, and you're refusing to move, and just, I don't know why people say, oh, let's have a treat. Ice cream. That's not a treat. Or indulge yourself. Oh yeah, love yourself by eating that ice cream. You know, really? Like, just the lies that
It
we've been
defeats the
told.
purpose, right?
Exactly. Right? So we need to start questioning more. Question whatever is being sent our way. Like, stop being a robot or a I don't know the word I'm looking for.
No,
Like
that's-
sponge is just absorbing everything. Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, okay, yeah, oh yeah, you're right. And I'm like, no, look into it. Look into it. Look at it from both sides, not just to defend your beliefs, but having that willingness to have your beliefs shaken up a little bit,
Yeah.
and then try it out for yourself and see what works and what doesn't work, right? Instead of right and wrong, because what's right for us here in another country is totally wrong, right? So right and wrong is very subjective, and so what works for you and what doesn't work, right? So that's my activism anyway. So just getting them to treat themselves better by making healthier choices and then moving, not vigorously to the point that you're torturing your body, but effortless movement, maximizing your movement. So in my classes, I slow things down. So when you're moving, doing the warrior pose and all that stuff, you know, let's take a moment here to engage all the muscle groups that you can think of. So a lot less movement, but more activation and engagement, and maximizing it, and also feel how you feel inside.
very
Come
mindful
into your
of it.
power.
Yeah.
Mindful, complete mindfulness with your every movement, your breath, and just with me alone, I've been getting a lot more results, moving less, but maximizing my movement to get the
Wow,
most
that's
results, right?
Is that
You can ask people around me. I don't work out. I don't do anything like where I'm out of breath or I sweat and all that stuff. No, I don't.
Is this yoga
Yeah.
you're talking about?
Just yoga, mindfulness, yeah.
Yeah.
I was hoping to get
Because people have a misconception about yoga too, right? So when the doctors, I have people come in, oh my, I have arthritis. My doctor told me to go to hot yoga. No, don't come to hot yoga. If you have so much pain and inflammation, no, but he thinks the heat will help. Yeah, but it's not a gentle. You don't want to start with that, right?
yeah.
So maybe more restorative, so more of the yin style of yoga, because people know the Bikram hot yoga, power yoga, that's what most
They're
people know.
trending now, is what it is.
Yes, they
Yeah.
don't know the other side of yoga. That's the ones I teach. The restorative, yin, hatha, the gentler, but very effective, not just physically, but on all the other levels.
So
Yeah.
now, is your clinic, your hypnotherapy clinic, and whatever
Yes.
else you do, is that in the same place where you do the yoga?
Yes. Yeah.
And it's called Alam Yoga.
Yes, Alam Yoga and Wellness.
And where is it?
It's in Whitby, We're at the southeast corner of Garden and Roslyn, just above the library,
Above the library.
Ooh, so
public
you
library.
can feed your mind and then also
Yeah.
feed, you know.
And so you have, so of course, right, people know what they can use hypnotherapy for, right?
I don't know. I don't think
Well, what's-
people know.
Well, what can they use it for then?
Just
know
about
you mentioned
everything.
you mentioned a few
Everything
already.
you can think of. Yeah.
Anything.
So, for instance, with children, it's ADHD, bedwetting, nail biting, just about any night terrors, just about anything and everything.
Well,
A
then
lot
you
of
have
our
the-
problems are not physical because I don't know how many people have now been
It's
told by the
emotional.
doctors, there's nothing wrong with you. I don't know, all the tests come back negative. You're good to go. Like, I don't know what's wrong with you. I think it's all like psychosomatic.
It's in your head.
Yeah. I've had a few people. They actually come to me as a last resort and say, please help me. I don't know what else to do. I've tried everything and I am just appalled by a lot of these, the traditional people that
Doctors?
are out there. The doctors that,
Oh, I know.
that even that are just, even therapists telling my clients, just, it happened 20 years ago. Okay, just get over it already. Because
Okay.
because they're not getting anywhere. They're not getting results.
Right.
Right? So then they themselves are frustrated, but then that's the system that they're in. They don't know anything else. Right? So I'm like, okay, get out of the system then. That's why I'm not in the system. I'm out of the system because the system hasn't been really helping. I mean, a lot of people do benefit from the medications and all that stuff. And if you do need it, you need it. Right? But don't allow yourself to be so hooked on it that you're not doing anything else, that you give your power away.
Right.
How about taking
Don't just
them?
go, oh, the doctor told me to do this,
Yeah.
so I'm going to do that, right? And
Mhm.
also you need to address the root causes.
This is
not
what I'm
the
interested in.
symptoms, Right?
To
Symptom
actually
management.
heal, not to just
Yes.
manage.
Yeah, symptom management. Okay, we can start with symptom management. We can start wherever you are, but eventually I want to get down to the root cause. What is the root cause of this problem?
Now you're launching as well. So you got the yoga,
Mm-hmm.
you got the hypnotherapy, and now you're launching catering,
Yes.
vegan catering
Yes.
in June.
Mm-hmm.
Where are you going to do all your cooking? And
So,
Got an answer.
you know, when the law of attraction, I work with a lot of attraction, right? When you're ready for it, you better be ready for it. So you put your intention out there. This is what I want to be doing. I need to be doing something with food to help more people and to reach more people. And the universe delivers. It didn't even click to me that there's a cooking school downstairs in the same plaza. It's the Liaison, it's a long name, Culinary Art College, something like that. But they teach cooking
There
school,
they
cooking
are.
courses. And when I was ready to do this, I got the most push after our anniversary party in March. I got a lot of push from people. Please do something with this. Please, like, we're gonna help you manifest this. Like, let's bring this into reality, right? And I Googled commercial kitchen, and then the thing that came up was the college downstairs.
That's
And then
crazy.
I just messaged them. I'm like, hey, do you rent out your kitchen? Well, we can work with you. What do you need? What do you want? And boom, it happened. And yeah, and then they also asked me if I would fill in teaching some courses on
Wow.
plant-based diet because they don't have anybody
It's amazing.
that does that. So
Perfect.
So you filled that little void. that
I
they
will
had.
be, yeah. I'll be running.
now, who do you
eventually,
figure your
yes.
clients are going to be for your vegan catering service?
I think it will just be anybody who wants to be healthier because I think the trend is there, right? People want
Definitely
to
there.
be healthier, but they don't want to compromise the taste. They want to still enjoy life. They want to eat good food, right? And so I don't use refined sugar if I don't have to, unless some baking. I'm still trying to figure out. I used to be a cake decorator and a baker too. I think that was part of the reason that I gained so much weight.
Well, you didn't mention
Really?
that until now.
Well, then.
So the recipes that I had before, I veganized them, and then now trying to. You know what's even worse than being a vegan? Being a celiac, a gluten-free
Oh, yeah.
vegan.
Yeah.
That's a double whammy. I didn't even realize it until one of my friends is, she's gluten-free and she just went vegan. I'm like, oh no. you know. So like that cookie now, I've tested it a few times.
Is that
making it-
gluten-free?
Yes, gluten-free.
It is?
Vegan, refined sugar-free.
My cookies.
What do you use instead of flour then?
Oh, they
I
have
mean,
mixes,
instead of,
mixed
Rice
flours
flours
like
and things.
tapioca starch, potato
Oh, yeah,
starch,
tapioca. I
forgot
about
rice
that.
flour,
All kinds of,
sorghum,
yeah.
all kinds of coconut,
Quinoa?
quinoa,
With,
quinoa.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't like quinoa.
You don't? All right.
It's bland. Yeah.
Okay, so Mathilda, great. So, and you're located in Whitby, so obviously for people that need to get to the studio for yoga or,
I also do Skype counseling.
okay.
I've done it with people in other countries.
So you don't have to be in Whitby
Unless you want to do the yoga.
unless you
Yes. And you want to get my poking because I
Yeah. Oh, you poke people?
poke people.
Oh.
I was actually hoping that Hugh would have to get down on the floor and do some yoga today. It was a secret wish I've had all week.
Well, you didn't tell me till now.
Telling you now.
Surprise! Look at his scared
Yeah.
face.
I'll see that after the show.
The sweat,
Okay.
right?
Yeah.
Well, we should tell people where they can get a hold of you, your website, and
Yes,
that
so
sort of thing.
it's alamyogawellness.com,
Okay.
and the catering would be
Alum, A-L-A-M.
ALAM, yes, ALAM, alamyogawellness.com, and the catering would be alamvegancatering.com.
Great. Okay, well.
And I think everyone enjoyed the
Yeah, I think.
I think
jackfruit,
Actually,
whole jackfruit,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
So yeah, I
Scramble?
brought barbecue pulled jack and tofu scramble and s'mores chocolate chip cookies here.
Those are. Okay, I'll have to have one of those. But I mean, I really enjoyed the. I mean, I know it's supposed to be pulled pork, but
Jackfruit,
it's-
yeah.
Yeah, but you don't have to even have that in mind.
Yeah, I don't even
No,
have
you
to
just
tell people. They
eating
just
that.
eat
enjoy it on its
Yeah.
own merits.
Yeah.
It's just a nice
It's just
tasting
a good
dish.
little thing to put on a
Yes.
cracker.
Actually, at the anniversary party, at my clinic's anniversary party, I put that in sandwiches. And then I must have had like a few hundred people that were there and they were eating it. It's like, I thought you're vegan.
Thinking it's a pulled pork sandwich, right?
Yeah. And have people like, oh my God, I have to go back and get more. Go back and get more. So, yeah.
It's good stuff.
Okay, Mathilda. Well, thanks for coming in today.
Thank you for having me.
And
Thank you
bringing
so
the
much.
food, and we still got lots around, so there's lots for everyone here, and including our staff. So thanks for doing this, and come back anytime.
Thank you. Yes. Thank you for having me.
Okay, so we're gonna take a little break, just a little one.
Yeah.
No more comfort breaks,
Oh,
Susan.
I've had my comfort break.
And we're gonna get who's next?
Ray Cruzzola.
Ray
Right there.
is coming on the show.
Vegan AF.
AF. We're gonna ask him what the F.
We're gonna
means.
let Ray say it.
We'll be right back on liquidlifestylecechannel.com.
Oh, you do it so well.
Are we done painting yet?
Keep rolling, mister.
I wish it was as quick as pre-qualifying for our RBC mortgage.
Some things about home ownership take time. Pre-qualifying for a mortgage shouldn't. With the RBC True House Affordability Tool, you can get a personalized estimate of how much home you could afford in just 60 seconds. Visit rbc.com/60 seconds to learn more.
All done.
Yes!
On to the kitchen.
No!
And ask us about our spring mortgage rate offer. Offer applies to eligible residential mortgages only. Other conditions apply.
From the time we're born, there are limits all around us. Speed limits. Height limits.
You gotta be this tall to get on this ride. You are not this tall.
You know what you can do with your limits, right? Get to the Jeep No Limits event, where a 2018 Jeep Cherokee is 15% off MSRP for up to $7,500 in discounts. Or get a Jeep Wrangler with 0% financing for 60 months. Offer ends May 31st. See your Jeep dealer for details.
And we're back on the show, hitting the home stretch. I tried to get the show done early today, but no.
You're too
It's
popular.
It's after 3
Too many
o'clock.
people love you and want to talk
We
to
don't
you.
want to cut these conversations short because they're all very interesting, and we don't want to shortchange anyone. And now we've got Ray Cruzzola joining us. And Ray,
Hey.
it's good to have you back in the studio. I know you've been here before for the
Yeah, Alex Bez's workshop. Yeah.
yeah, and
And he came to one of our shows too, just to scope us out.
all right.
Yeah.
And here you are now on the couch
Yeah.
with your vegan
Vegan
AF Productions.
Yeah.
What does AF stand for?
So,
Well,
yeah. Usually I'm on the other side of the camera.
Yeah.
So this is interesting being on this side, and yeah, I get to see what the interviewees usually go through.
The hot spot.
Yeah. Hot spot.
so being on the other side of the camera, what kinds of subject matter do you usually focus on?
Well, usually I do. I have a company. It's a production company called Room Temp Productions, and that deals mostly with human issues. So nonprofit issues. It ranges everything from mental health issues to equal rights, and I'm all for human rights. Like it's so important, of course. But I was going through like a list of different world issues like a while ago, and I was thinking what would be the most important videos to create. Like, well, what does the world really need? And people who have their own production companies, like they range everything from doing weddings to extreme sports, whatever the case is. But I wanted to focus on the nonprofit sector. And out of all the issues, the one that really stood out was the animal rights issues, and it stands out by so much. And I'm not like saying all the human rights issues aren't as important, but it's just huge.
Its time has come.
Yeah, and it's so like it's traumatic. Even the earlier interview about the bear bile, they're in cages all their life, they can't even move. Like it drives you crazy. So I decided to branch off from Room Temp Productions, and I still have it for if there's any videos that have to do human related. And now I put together Vegan AF Productions. It's actually brand new, so yeah, I'm really excited, and it covers everything from promo videos for vegan or animal rights businesses or organizations, vegan restaurants. It also, I've been covering a bit of the activist activities, like the demos and the protests, this and that. And it also, I'm working on a specific series that I really feel the movement can benefit from. So I'm putting most of my energy right now into the series.
Exciting.
Yeah,
Really
it
exciting.
actually is. It's really
And so, what's the
ambitious.
What's the idea behind the series?
Okay,
Or does
the
it have
series.
a name yet, or
I'm thinking just call it Vegan AF.
okay?
But I don't know, it's catchy. I
Yeah.
like it. So
And it's naughty, a little bit naughty,
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
What does the A stand for?
Well, the A
As.
stands for as.
I'm not allowed to swear on the show.
No. Huh?
Okay.
No.
Okay.
No. You don't have to. We're trying to avoid that. Question.
Yeah, that's good.
We're just okay.
So
More funny to just leave it out there.
yeah. Well, okay, so Vegan AF, it pretty much stands for, okay, like it's that popular analogy where, let's say you see a dog being abused, you can help the abuser abuse the dog, which is kind of what non-vegans indirectly support. Unfortunately, a lot of them aren't even aware they do that. But or you can completely just walk away and not participate, which is vegan. Or you can really get in the way and try your best to disarm the abuser, and that's more like what Vegan AF stands for.
Activism.
So yeah, being an active vegan. And there's so many vegans out there, and if there's like such a small percentage that are actually active, so if like a bigger chunk of us would really participate, the movement would
Get some movement.
yeah, like so much faster. And so the series is really trying to get vegans to go active. And a lot of people, they switch from being non-vegan to vegan by watching a certain documentary. For a lot of people, it was Earthlings or Cowspiracy.
Right.
And so with this series, it's supposed to get vegans to go active after they watch a few episodes. That's the
That
goal.
is so needed.
Yeah,
This
yeah,
is-
yeah. It's really special.
It's the next step. For
Yeah,
Sure.
and it's
sorry, go ahead.
I'll just quickly say this. It's going to highlight the different influencers in the movement and show their own unique ways of contributing, because there's so many ways to go active. It's not just protesting or the aggressive methods. Like there's what your previous interviewee was doing. Like she's baking, she's cooking. That's huge. Providing vegan alternatives. Without that, where would people go? So there's that. There's chalktivism. I'd love to do Tim as my
Tim
goal.
Theodore,
I'd
yeah.
like to do a little
He's an
short
artistic guy who expresses himself through chalking, right? And he
Yeah.
can just make the most amazing creations.
Actually,
Yeah.
You know about
Awesome.
chalktivism.
I
I was
do.
supposed to do chalktivism yesterday, but I
Mary
was
Chris
very...
Staples was here. She was talking
Yeah,
about it, I think.
I wasn't able to do it yesterday.
Oh, for Mother's Day.
I know.
Yeah.
That's so I wore ditch dairy instead.
Oh, nice. Yeah, it's such a simple form. Like you can literally carry a piece of chalk with you. You don't have to be a great artist. And then anywhere where there's a really good intersection with a lot of traffic, or there's a place where people stay stagnant for a certain period of time, like a bus stop, whatever the case is, just write a good, just promote a certain documentary, let's say, and where to find it, and they're staring at it that whole time. Maybe the next time they're on Netflix, they're clicking on Cowspiracy, and literally their whole life is changing. And all it took you was... Yeah, like less than a minute. So I'd love to do a video on that, hopefully before, or hopefully during the spring and summer, so people can take advantage of the weather in Canada here. And
Yeah, because they're a captive audience, whether they want to be or not. They're waiting for a bus or
Yeah,
whatever, and
yeah.
you are informing them, and they don't feel like it's being shoved down their throat. They're,
Yeah.
you know.
And you're not
Exactly.
causing, it's not like spray painting. Where
Yeah.
Right, yeah,
So
the next
do
rain washes it
vandalizing,
away.
right?
yeah.
So Ray, have you been a vegan all your life, or what happened for you
No,
to?
like I just, I'm new, like probably less than 2 years to be fully honest. So
A lot of people are
Yeah.
waking up in this
Yeah,
last few
yeah.
years. Yeah.
because there's so much content now, it's hard to be honest with yourself and not be vegan. It was more just having just committing to being more honest with myself and having that relationship with my honest self, because you hear all these voices and the ego comes in and the vanity whatever, and then there's that little quiet voice that's just whispering to you like you know what to do, and then it was telling me to do some research, find out more about veganism, and so I did that, and then it was like a no-brainer, like the benefits outweighed by a long shot. So so that was my and it was not Cowspiracy but Earthlings.
Oh.
Earthlings. That's
Yeah.
the one that nobody can watch all
Well,
the way through.
I didn't even watch it all. Like it's tough. It's genuinely a tough
I feel like
one.
it's preaching to the choir with me. By the time Earthlings came along, I was already there. But still, it's good to reinforce these things as well and keep yourself all
You don't
sharp
want to
and edgy.
relapse.
Not too likely. It's been a
Yeah.
long time.
Yeah.
Now, the idea. So the series, right?
Yes.
I mean, have you started? Have you done
Yeah,
any
I
shooting
have,
yet, or?
Excuse me. The trailer. I'm hoping it can be aired on this episode. We'll see. I almost finished it last night. Maybe a couple more days.
Have it inserted afterwards, maybe.
Yeah.
Somehow.
Hopefully, if I get it done on time. But
Or just come back.
Okay. It's it's a trailer. It shows little clips of some of the work I have been doing and some of the work I'm doing right now, and I have a few activists that I've already interviewed, and not just in the Toronto area, but in Vegas. A couple of really cool women there. I got a really good video of them, and I got some of James Aspie's one of his talks. Just a bunch of little videos I've been
Just
putting
cobbled
together.
it all together.
Yeah, and they highlight the different forms of being active. So when someone watches it, even if they have like an inkling of curiosity, they watch it and then they can identify where they can use their skill set and really contribute. Because a lot of people, I think they really do want to contribute, but there's all these fears and doubts in the way. They don't want their friends to see them outside with the sign and yelling. So it shows different ways they can. And then hopefully once they start that, they continue and they completely don't care about what other people think, and then they just go all out and really push the movement forward, save some lives.
I just want to say something here, just because I guess I sort of had a
Epiphany?
A preconception of vegans.
Everyone says it like that.
We're all hippies, man. And
because I thought,
and we're angry and
they'll
humorless.
be self-righteous and humorless and stuff like that.
I'm way funnier than you.
Yeah, I know. But everybody that we've met going through this process,
Just
has been
normal
awesome.
people.
Like even you are normal.
My own weird way, right?
Well, except for the skeleton witch obituary and pallbearers concert you went to last week.
Yeah.
Oh,
You remember?
I love the whole goth kind of witch look.
I
don't know if that's it.
I just love that name, skeleton witch.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, anyways, but that's all. No,
But
I
it's
mean,
been
you know,
very, kind of refreshing for you to just go, wow.
Well, for you, but just you guys are actually fun, and and you're taking a stand.
Mm-hmm.
I should put myself in that category, right? We're taking
Well,
a stand.
you are going on your own little journey here in your own way, right?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and after today, after speaking to Mathilda, right? Because I got a little bit of arthritis in my finger here, which will probably disappear if I go vegan.
Well, I heard it's really good for arthritis.
Yeah. Huh?
Oh.
Yeah, that's right.
Nice.
Yeah.
Former guest turned audience member here. Well, I'm excited about this. I didn't know you were doing this particular project with the series.
And it's good you. Oh, sorry, but
No, go ahead.
it's good you mentioned that, because one of the main goals of the series is to kill the stigmas and
normalize it. Right?
And to show the different types of people who are going active.
And then different people will identify with them,
exactly.
right? And it doesn't seem so strange anymore. Like you don't feel like you're going to be the cheese standing alone, or the freak, on the outside looking in. So.
And I think a lot of the vegan activists, they have I guess they carry with them a different definition of what cool is, and I think everyone has this pressure to fit in, and they don't want to look uncool, whatever. But the vegan activists have this thing where they're really they're going against all odds. Like their family and friends, I'm sure, are ridiculing them, whatever the case is, but they're still doing what they truly believe is right in their heart.
For sure.
Yeah, it's something to really show that it's an admirable thing. So I'm really trying to include that in there as well.
Now, when you talk about a series, is this going to be intended for television, or is it going to be YouTube? Or?
It's an online series, YouTube series, and each video is literally from 30 seconds to maybe 3 minutes long. Okay. And just really, nowadays the viewer's attention span is so short.
So you have to capitalize on that.
I was considering doing a feature length, but then I was being honest with myself again, and it just seemed like a series is what really gets the message in there. So a series I thought was more effective, and then YouTube was more effective too, because it blasts out there through the social media platforms. Yeah.
I would love to see. We were talking about it before. You getting involved with that. The Vegan
Uprising?
Film Festival.
Oh, yeah.
Well, Nation Rising, of course.
I'm
that's
supposed to cover the Nation Rising too. But yeah, who knows with the Vegan Film Festival. That's good to hear. That really means that it's going more mainstream.
Yeah.
So we would love to see a trailer whenever you get it ready, and we'd love to see some of these episodes. So maybe you can come back. Obviously, not too difficult for you to get in here sometimes. But are you a downtown Toronto guy, or?
Yeah, Lansdowne and St. Clair. So I'm here all the time. It's 20 minutes. Yeah.
And we should. Do you want to give out your YouTube channel? Where people can get
right
this?
now, like I said, it's just in the seed stage. So it's really easy to remember. Vegan AF Productions. YouTube is Vegan AF Productions. It's the same with Facebook, Instagram, etc. Twitter, I don't know if I'll delve into that much. It's Vegan AF Pro, so it ends at D. just because you're not
Right,
you're only
right.
allowed a certain amount. And then the website is veganafproductions.com, and
It goes live when, though?
it goes live. To play it safe, I'd say 2 weeks.
Okay.
Yeah.
So probably most people watching this right now, it'll already be live, so they can go check it out right now.
Yeah. And yeah, like I said, for any business watching, any animal rights organization watching, vegan business or restaurant, I have really good ideas for promotional material. I did a lot of promotional material for my previous, for Room Temp Productions, everything from like ads to instructional videos, all types. So feel free, and it's always good if you do choose a production company to create video content for your organization. It's always important that they're actually genuinely involved and they understand the bigger picture and their heart's involved in their work. So feel free to contact me. I'm based from Toronto, but willing to travel. And yeah, I really look forward to creating material that just spreads out there and changes people's lives and stuff.
Okay, amazing.
Yeah.
Okay, Ray. Great
Okay.
to have you on the show today.
Yeah.
And have a
Great to be
conversation,
here.
because I know you've been here before, but we haven't really had a chance to talk, so thanks a lot.
Okay, thanks.
All
That
right.
was great.
So Sue,
This
I
is
think
it.
that's it.
Oh, no.
Oh
the
yeah, we
video.
got a video.
Yes.
Right,
My
do you wanna
friend,
set it up?
Matt Simpson. He's an Irish guy, but, well, I'm sorry to butcher the Irish accent yet again, but he's now living in Amsterdam, and he's with a band called 40 Meters Away, spelled the American way, which I don't like, but anyway. And it's their song Days Go By, and they deliberately spell it B-Y-E, like just to be, catchy. And this is an unplugged version of their tune, so it's just Matt doing.
Is it promoting veganism?
He's a vegan,
Okay.
and he's heavily into the movement over there. He and his girlfriend Linda, and he's coming on in 2 weeks, so he can talk
great.
about it. Skyped. He's
Oh,
not coming
Skyped.
all the way from.
All right.
Anyway.
Okay.
So.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Ray, say one more thing.
Oh, one more thing. For any musicians out there who are vegan, I'm always looking for good music. Sometimes I have to settle for the cheapest music, but feel free to contact me. And if your music can work, it could help gain exposure. And it would be so amazing to have a vegan musician along with some of the vegan videos.
Guy as I.
Sorry?
Guy as I.
Yeah.
You know
What?
him? Just a guy.
Okay, so thanks everybody for tuning in. Thanks everybody for showing up. And here's the
And then
video
there were
by
two.
40 Meters Away. And we're going to have them on in a couple of weeks. See you later this week. Gotcha.com.